Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is the latest in a long line of legacy sequels. It's a sequel, obviously, to Tim Burton's 1988 classic movie, Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hara all return to their roles alongside new cast members Justin Theroux, Monica Bellucci, and Jenna Ortega. Can't forget Willem Dafoe, too. Tim Burton and Danny Elfman also are back to direct and do the score, respectively. This movie was made on a budget of $100 million. Is it a soulless cash grab or a loving homage to the first movie? We'll talk about it, but before we start, I did have some audio problems recording this review, so just let you know it's not 100% perfect on both sides. Steven still sounds great, obviously, but hopefully it's not too distracting for you. Okay.
Beetlejuice, our film of the evening. We just got back from the theater. This is our fresh out of the theater review, so if we say something that we probably don't agree with, and that's why. We were thrilled by the magic of movie making.
It was pretty magical. I had just watched the first one last night, so it was so fresh in my mind watching this one. It literally felt like they just did sequels. You don't agree with this, but I felt like the vibe and the feel of both movies were so close that they made them close to each other kind of thing.
The first one is like a dream or something. It's like you got your Gina Davis and your Alec Baldwin, and they're sort of like they're on vacation, but they're just at home, kind of relatable. They're just sort of hanging out. You like them as characters, and it's like this nice kind of dream like vibe of like nothing really makes sense, but everything has a logic to it.
Right.
So it's like this kind of, I would call it like a dream. This one felt much more like reality or something, like much more like the parts in the real world especially felt like a real life thing.
You really felt like the passage of time from that movie to this movie. In the movie itself kind of thing, like the growing up of it. Like with Winona Ryder being the parent this time instead of the kid, having her own kid. It was same but different, you know what I mean? You had the angsty teen, you had the parents. This time you have Catherine O'Hara as like a grandma kind of thing instead of just the mom. I think Catherine O'Hara, again, knocks it out of the park. I think she was really good in both of these movies. And she brings just a funniness to the movie, a lightness that you can't really get with anyone else.
I think it was a good choice to get her back on board as like a kind of a likable character. Yeah. Especially since we like hated her character in the first movie. Mm-hmm. But now like they've kind of, her and Lydia have kind of grown together and they've kind of, they're more attached. I don't think they see each other like quite every day or anything like that, but they definitely have a better rapport than they did in the first movie. Yeah,
there's a part in this one where she literally goes, "Where's the kid that used to bully me and torment me when she was a teenager? Bring her back." She was basically telling the girl like, "Nut up or shut up. Quit whining and get your shit together," kind of thing.
I guess before we do anything too spoilery, I would say I liked it pretty well.
Yeah, I liked it.
I would give it maybe 7 to 8.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage you to go watch the movie. It's really fun. So, Michael Keaton knocks it out of the park as well.
Michael Keaton is a standout in this, as always. Yeah. Every time I'm like, he's a little too old to do something like. Remember in Spider-Man thinking like he can't be the Vulture. He's a little too old.
And then he makes it work.
Yeah, he's just great. Yeah. Even in like The Flash, like he's the best part of that movie, I would say.
Yeah, probably 100%.
So go see it if you can. We're gonna do some spoilers now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beetlejuice himself. How did you like Beetlejuice?
I thought he was fun. And here's the thing too. I was telling you as a hot take. Beetlejuice really didn't do anything wrong, in my opinion, in the two movies. He's a little dated with his treatment of women, if you will.
Yeah, I rewatched the first Beetlejuice for this, like you did.
And, he was groping people, kissing people without their permission, lifting skirts. Bad guy. But as far as like what they were trying to say of him, like this demon from hell kind of guy, like don't summon him, he's just awful. He gave like the Mask vibes, but a ghost. You know what I mean? And it was just so funny, dude. And like in the second one, they continue that with like there's like singing numbers where like he just he tells his backstory in a Spanish voice, like it's not even him, it's someone speaking in Spanish.
It's like a black and white telenovela.
Yes,
vibe.
Dude. Like it was so chaotic, it was so funny, it was so fun. You know what I mean? I like how much like death is such a lackadaisical thing in these movies. Yeah. When most people, myself included, have like this big fear of death. Mm-hmm. In this one, you accept it. You're just like, yeah, people die, and you get to see them like they didn't even die. You know what I mean? So that was fun.
I've always liked the way they portray the dead people in this. Like if you die getting eaten by a snake, then there's going to be a snake with you in the afterlife eating you, or like one of the characters in this has like piranhas all over them.
Yes,
so
dude.
Like that's a fun little tidbit.
Me and we went with our buddy Caleb. Shout out him. And he was like, "Is it just because they all had violent deaths that they go here? Like if you just die peacefully, you just go to where you need to go? Because no one in there didn't have something going on with them in a violent manner."
And I think. We can kind of touch on you were talking about how Beetlejuice, like they all make him out to be this horrible evil demon that like no one should talk to at any cost, get away from him at all costs. He's just like a used car salesman.
Yeah.
That's the vibe, is like, he's just like a redneck who's trying to sell you a car.
Yes,
and
dude.
That makes it so much funnier to me when it's like, don't say his name.
Yeah.
You're gonna invite him into your life. It'll never leave.
And it's like, is it that bad that he's in your life? You know, because every time they call him, he does help them.
Yeah, but it's like, it's just like a person you wouldn't want to talk to. It's like someone you've seen, you're like, oh God.
Like a guy from high school you really don't want to reconnect with.
Yes.
The one who peaked in high school, you know, he's the class clown and then he never leaves.
He just goes to sell cars and he's like in the first movie he's like, I'll do anything, I'll swallow anything you want me to swallow. I'll chew anything. I'll chew on a dog.
Anyone you want.
Yes. So this is a great type of character. I think before this, Ghost, and I mean, I'm sure there was some, obviously there was horror comedies and stuff, but this is the first to be like, what if the underworld was just like a bureaucratic nightmare where you had to like wait in line for 100 years to talk to your caseworker, and then, even then it's like they're just gonna blow you off anyway.
Yeah, there was a scene with him where it's like your first scene with him and Lydia back together, and they're down in hell, underworld, whatever you want to call it, the in between. And he basically makes her get pregnant and give birth to his kid. And it's like the funniest thing ever because the kid's crawling around, biting her leg and stuff. And he goes, I think they say that he got my eyes, but I don't really think so. Get out of here, squirt. And he like just drop kicks the baby out of there. You know what I mean? This demonic baby. And he's just like, yeah, never mind. I don't like him. Throws him away.
It was just such a shock.
Yes.
It was like, because the whole movie, and this is sort of how I felt about it, which is why I gave it like a 7. Like the first third of the movie is kind of boring to me.
Yeah.
And Beetlejuice, I at least like these characters are likable. You're kind of learning about what they're doing. They're kind of like settling into their house. You don't really get to see them too chubby much before they die, and then that kicks off the plot. In this, it's like, okay, we see Lydia, we know her daughter, and then like the whole daughter stuff. That subplot didn't really do anything for me. That was sort of like the reason for her to like get back into Beetlejuice. And
if you've seen the first movie, you'll learn in the second movie too. There's like 4 or 5 different plot points. None of them matter, and none of them really get closed in a meaningful way. They just start and end with no like grandiose or anything to it, grandeur. And it's so funny to see that. Like, you think one of the big bad guys, like, he ends up just getting plummeted to hell. There's no like big fight or climactic ending with it. He's just gone. The build up for the second villain, she's like built up the entire movie. You know, you see her walking and killing people and stuff, and then she just gets eaten. So it's like they're hyped up, but then they don't go anywhere. And it's funny because that's the joke. It's like, oh, we don't literally care about anything. You're just here to entertain you.
It was almost like Beetlejuice, and I know he didn't set the whole thing up, but it's almost like he set everything up to where he could like get back around to marrying Lydia.
Dude. Like, it was all his design, and you know him, he's too stupid to really think of anything in depth, you know?
It's obviously not what they're going for, but it's like Beetlejuice can just take care of whatever he has to in that moment.
Yeah.
You just have to invite him into your life and like get him to...
Which is so weird. He's so crazy powerful, but he's supposed to just be a ghost like anyone else. But in this one, they even describe him as like a demon and stuff. So
he's definitely got like interesting powers. Like he can pretty much do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's literally the mask. You know what I mean?
Which the ghosts in the first one could like do that as well. They can like stretch out their faces. Or, like,
they take possession of like a whole group of people in the first one.
Yeah. They do like the throw your voice and like whatever. And so I think that's sort of expanded on. Like none of the other ghosts really have that stuff to do in this one. But I don't know. Like when you watch it, you're not really thinking that. You're just kind of thinking like, "Oh fuck, Beetlejuice is hilarious."
Yeah,
you know?
It's just like the movie's like a fun ride. You know what I mean? You get on it, you see a bunch of funny sights and sounds, and you're really just in the moment. And then it's over, and you're just like, "Yeah, okay, I'm okay with it's over. It's cool." You know.
What was your thought on like the whole Lydia and her daughter, like the
Astrid thing?
Yeah.
I felt like they were trying to recreate something from the first movie.
Hollywood, quit naming people Astrid. I hate that fucking name. I don't like it. It's a bad name.
Why don't you like it?
Like How to Train Your Dragon. They always say
that's my first thought too.
It sounds like ass turd.
Yeah,
that's a joke from The Office. I think is someone Jan names her baby Astrid.
Oh,
and they're like ass turd. I just hear ass turd every time. Yeah. Please don't say Astrid.
It's not a good name.
I've never heard anyone in real life name Astrid. I think it's like a Viking Nordic kind of name.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. No one needs Astrid as their name anymore.
That scared the shit out of me.
Broke your microphone?
The Astrid subplot, I think they were just like, well, that worked in the first one. Mom, angsty teenager kind of thing. The dad being out of the picture kind of thing. It was okay, but it wasn't really a plot I really needed. I think it was just there to have trouble you know?
Yeah, they did this thing where like she's a loner, the daughter. She's Jenna Ortega, who does a good job in the movie, but just what they did with her didn't really do anything for her.
Yeah, no.
She finds this guy in town, and like, spoiler alert, he's a ghost.
Yeah, which we called it the second we saw it.
I think they don't show his parents' face, and I was like, oh, his parents are dead. And then I think I didn't think he was a ghost, but
yeah, I thought the parent. I looked at you. I said, I bet the parents are dead, and the kid's just living there. And then I was like, wait, maybe the kid's the ghost and the parents are... And then it turned out they were all dead. And I was like, okay, I was kind of right at 2 different times.
But they try to make him like a sympathetic, like sort of like a Frozen vibe.
Yeah.
You know, like in Frozen does it well, where it's like, oh, these 2 characters are meant to be... And in like a Disney movie, you're not questioning the fact that like, maybe this guy has ulterior motives.
Yeah.
In this movie, I was immediately like, I don't trust him. He doesn't... Yeah. You don't cast someone who looks like that to be like the hunky boyfriend.
Yeah.
Nothing against that actor. He did a fine job.
Yeah.
But he was kind of like kid from That 70s Show. That's what he reminded me of.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Did you get that vibe?
Yeah.
He kind of had that look about him.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was another inconsequential thing, which wraps up, like, spoiler alert, he was the one that gets cast down into hell because he was tricking her into stealing her soul so he could come back to life. And Beetlejuice just shows up and says, nope, you're not going to do that. Later, fucker, and then drops him down.
That's your F-bomb of the movie.
Yeah, and that's all, because they literally bleep it later, which is another funny thing. It's just, man, the second musical number, I kind of agree with you.
Took a long time.
It went for a while, you know, and not in a good way like Deadpool's.
Well, Deadpool's was like right at the beginning. I think by the time this happened, I was like already kind of over it.
Yeah.
And he had done like a little musical thing early, like a little musical, like he was playing like a guitar and like singing a song.
Wherever you are.
Which that was fine because it was like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
it was funny. Everyone laughed. Good joke.
Yeah. And
then like I don't know, they did this like big musical number toward the end where like they're about to get remarried.
Yeah.
Or married for the first time. I guess.
Yeah, they didn't get married the first time. Which was the same dress as the first movie too.
Ah, yeah. Get that consistency. There's a little bit too much of that memberberry stuff in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the first movie, he really only wears that black and white striped suit for like 3 scenes.
Well, he's only really in the movie for 3 to 4 scenes.
But he has a ton of outfits in the movie. But I think that's just the iconic suit. That was the suit from like the cartoon.
Yeah, that's what everyone remembers.
Yeah.
If you watch our multiverses stuff,
that's how he looks in
multiverses.
To the point where like they give everyone else skins based on his black and white suit skin.
Yeah.
The whole movie he's in the black and white suit. I just feel like that was kind of much. Like, show him more clothes, maybe.
Yeah.
Just a little more diversity. Also, just like don't rehash as much as the first movie.
Yeah.
Which they didn't do too much. They just did that little like behind the shot face, like, oh, you think that's scary, and he does like, which I like that stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's good stuff.
We're introduced to a new character, Willem Dafoe's character. I don't remember his name.
He had a name. I don't remember anyone's name.
He's so funny though because he's supposed to be this cop of the underworld, much like the hit movie R.I.P.D. With Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds.
I always forget that movie exists.
I don't know why. It's a classic. It's got Kevin Bacon in it.
Classic piece of shit.
Yeah, it's not good. But he's supposed to be a cop, but it turns out he's just an actor. And like at one point, he's like trying to instill courage and stuff in his men and get him to go do catch Beetlejuice and stuff. And his assistant is like has cue cards for him to read, kind of thing. And he's always like, "Keep it real, but remember, I'm just an actor. I'm not actually a cop, but for some reason I'm a cop," kind of thing. It was so funny.
He kept saying like that was his catchphrase. Keep it real, even though he's complete faking it.
Yeah. Time, and he was telling people that like he jumped through the window at the end, and he's just walking around with glass all over his body, and he's like telling people like freeze and stuff. It's just Willem Dafoe's like he didn't add anything. You could have taken him away, and the movie would be the same. Yeah. You put him in, and the movie's still the same. Like it's just such another way to throw away someone, but it works somehow. Yeah. Like the amount of just fluff in this movie that was thrown at you, but it didn't feel like fluff. You know what I mean?
It's not that kind of movie where you get upset at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You're kind of just looking for the set pieces and the fun characters.
Yeah.
Where like in the first one was pretty much the same. I mean, it was like a more kind of scaled down story.
Yeah.
This is more grand as far as like we're in the waiting room play, whatever they call it. They don't even bother giving it a name.
They don't. That's how much they don't care, dude. In
the first movie, I thought like it was just like once you die, you stay as a ghost forever. Like there was no mention of like heaven or hell, and I kind of like that because it was its own mythology.
Yeah.
Like you get your little handbook and you kind of read through it and you say like, oh, I don't understand how any of this works, but you have infinity.
Yeah.
You have infinite time to figure it out essentially. And so in this one, you do figure out that they get sent on to heaven or hell.
Yeah, you spend essentially like 125 years as a ghost thing.
Something, yeah.
And then you can go somewhere else.
And it's never explicitly said either because like the characters don't know, so we don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We get like a glimpse of kind of like what it is and what they can do and everything, but we don't really especially know.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, I guess, for the plot. But
nothing matters for the plot. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but in this, it's more so that like they expand on that element where it's just like you're just having fun. This is Beetlejuice doing Beetlejuice thing.
I feel like they were like, let's half-ass write a story.
Yeah.
But like on purpose, and they'll love it.
I just cynical brain of mine. I always wonder if this was like written during the writer's strike, so it's like maybe it is a little less.
Yeah, but somehow it works. I don't know why. It just works. Yeah. But half of it doesn't make sense. I was telling you today before we even watched it, I said, I was watching the first one. It's like so surface level. Like the second you try to poke holes in it, the whole movie falls apart.
But the plot, like the lore of the movie. Yeah, the plot's fine. Like
but like all the other stuff, once you start looking at it, it's like this doesn't make any sense. But they're like, we know that. You still like it. It's awesome.
I think Danny DeVito in this too.
Yeah.
I think Tim Burton was just kind of like, I'm Tim Burton, and I haven't done like a Tim Burton-y movie in a while. Like I think he did
because he's been trapped with Disney for a while.
And he there was kind of a slant at Disney in this. If you noticed, he was like one of the realtor's daughter, who's now another realtor trying to sell the old house from the first movie. She's like, Disney. We don't like Disney. We don't go to Disney anymore.
Yeah.
They said something like that.
Yeah, I heard that, and I was like, Tim Burton.
We got you. We know what you're doing.
Surprising we didn't see Helen Bonham Carter in this movie at all.
I think they broke up. I think they're not together anymore.
No.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I'm kind of over when Tim Burton likes to overuse the fuck out of shit.
Yeah.
Which explains
Danny DeVito.
Michael Keaton. He's another favorite of his. But it's fine. I think it's been enough time to where I can kind of reappreciate it.
Yeah.
There was a period where it was like Sweeney Todd, Dark Shadows. It was like all
Scissorhands.
Well, that was before, but you get my point. Like all these
Alice in Wonderland.
Even Allison or even Edward Scissorhands had Winona Ryder.
Well, what color's my underwear?
Very, very half-assed. What color's my underwear?
But let's talk Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, she's great.
So good, dude. So spoiler alert again. So her husband dies.
Yeah. I think there was some real life stuff going on. I didn't see too much about it. I heard a couple things about the guy in real life. Maybe had some issues or drama. I didn't look into it. But he pretty much gets taken out of the movie right away. Yeah.
So he's dead. He gets eaten by sharks. So he's always half a body.
What about that you see him? Stop motion flashback they did?
That was weird too. But it worked. I wasn't upset with it. I think because it was the beginning. If they, like you said, if they showed it more in the middle or towards the end, I'd be like, why are we doing this right now?
It was sort of the cutaway. Like Beetlejuice did a cutaway where it was like a telenovela. They did a cutaway and it was like a stop motion kind of deal.
So it was fine. But so you see him every now and then just wandering around the waiting room area trying to get somebody to help him. But Catherine's like, I need to take, like she's, Catherine O'Hara is, she played, Delia is her name in the movie. She's extra all the time. So she's got like a whole mourning veil over the entire house. She gets these snakes that are defanged so that she can do like this Egyptian ritual over his grave. Turns out the snakes aren't defanged. They bite her and kill her. She just goes, and then just dies. And it's the funniest thing. I laughed so hard when I saw that.
Me and Steven were the only ones laughing in the whole theater. I don't think anyone knew what was going on.
Yeah.
You were dying.
I was laughing. Like, she's dead now. And that's okay, though, in this movie. You know what I mean? It gave very, you remember Casper, the Friendly Ghost, the live action one? Sure. The crooks killed themselves so they become ghosts and get the treasure. And then they were like, and it was just so natural for them to do that, you know what I mean? And then they said, well, you got what you wanted, so you don't have any unfinished business. So then they got dragged to hell. But the lackadaisicalness of her dying in the movie, it gave the same vibe, you know what I mean? Because you're about to see her again anyway. She's not left the movie. No. She's going to be in the rest of the movie.
That was my favorite. That was one of my favorite things about the movie was that people could just die and it's fine.
Yeah,
like they're still that
you see their dad, who Astrid's dad, and the Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, that was a big sticking point. That was the whole. That was really her whole character arc. Was like, I'm mad at you because our dad died. What was I'm mad at you because
they were like gonna get a divorce, and then after the split, like right after he went to the Amazon and then was never found again. Surprise. Yeah. Spoiler, he got ate by piranhas.
And Lydia in this is dating a guy who's just so obnoxious.
Yeah, he's just using her.
I would say not even in a funny way. He's just like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, every time I saw him, I was just like, oh my God. I think he was a wasted character, but not in a good way. Willem Dafoe didn't add anything, but he didn't take anything away. You know,
it was like a fun character. He had like part of his brain showing.
Yeah,
the effects were really good in this.
Yeah, it was. But when this guy came on the screen, I was just like, get him out of here, dude. Get him out of this movie.
We're tired. I think we see through it right away.
Yeah,
and like we're told right away. It's basically like he just, and we even found out he like this is a Tim Burton stereotype of a character, like Corpse Bride. Mm-hmm. It's like the guy trying to get the real life girl or fiance of the Johnny Depp character in that. It's just like he's just like fiendishly evil. He's just like he's playing up his emotional side to like getting close with the daughter and getting close with the mom, and he's trying to make more money off of Lydia because she's now like a famous TV show host.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff like that where he's focused on way too much in the movie. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We learned that Astrid has the gift to see ghosts, just like Lydia.
But like she hadn't seen them until she got to.
That's what I'm saying too. Like, because she sees the boy and his parents who are all dead. There's no way because we see Lydia at the beginning of the movie. She's in a bathroom and she sees a dead actress. I'm assuming, knife to the head kind of thing. So she's seeing ghosts all the time.
Sure.
So why is Astrid just now? But Lydia didn't start seeing ghosts until she went to that town either.
Well, she started seeing ghosts because she read through the handbook.
No, she hadn't read the handbook yet.
No, she did.
She saw the ghost before she saw the handbook.
Special effects are great. Mainly practical. There was a couple of visual effects, obviously, but there was a bunch of stop motion stuff like we talked about. Sandworms, I like them better in that look. I think it's more authentic to the first one, even though it's like Star Wars, right? Like you see nowadays we got like these big 3D CGI AT-ATs and AT-STs and whatever, but like back in the day those were stop motion stop motion effects.
Yeah, but they kind of looked bad in the old movies.
Well, it doesn't matter if they look bad. I think they look fine for how they were for the era at least, And so now it's like we get this kind of updated look, but Tim Burton, for whatever reason, Tim Burton normally is all about the CGI vomit stuff. Like you look at the Alice in Wonderland movie, it's all CGI.
Yeah, but all of his previous movies are a lot of stop action or stop motion, like practical effects.
Because he was limited with his time. Like whenever he got the technology to use it, he just went overboard. Like Charlie and Chocolate Factory, Alice in Wonderland, those are both just like huge CGI.
I always forget Tim Burton did Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
It doesn't really feel like him, does it?
No. It kind of does, but like no at the same time.
Surface level.
The grayscale is definitely Tim Burton.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This movie's pretty though. It's very interesting. It's cool.
I remember we're in the dead of summer right now where we're at, but Jenna Ortega was riding her bike, and seeing the fall and stuff. She pulled up into the Ghost Boy's house, and I looked at my buddy Caleb. I said, "Man, I bet you it's crisp over there, dog. Like that's some fall weather over there, dude." And so yeah, it was very pretty. You got the different colored leaves and trees and stuff.
Connecticut?
Yeah, I think it was Connecticut. Yeah. Connecticut or like New Hampshire or something.
It's a pretty movie. I would say it's
even
stylized.
And you know what? The underworld, it's not dark. You can see things.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so much weird shit going on that I'm glad that you can see a lot of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm watching the new Rings of Power in the first episode, dude. Where you have to have the room completely dark to be able to see some of those dark scenes, and it pisses me off so much. So and Des is like, my girlfriend's like, why do they keep doing that? I said, so they can get away with not as good graphics. I understand why they do it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. You know what I mean? So no, it was very surprisingly light for what they were doing. But like you said, a lot of it was practical. So there wasn't much they had to hide.
Looks good. The baby crawling around, that was all
my god, practical. Terrifying. The shrunken head people were really good.
I did not. They looked good. I did not love that. They're like, I didn't like how much they were in it.
Really?
I thought they were minion-y.
I know. I liked that.
Well, you like the minions, don't you?
You liked the minions before they got corrupted by middle-aged moms.
I did not like the fucking minions. I never liked Despicable Me.
You're Satan if you don't like the minions.
You're Satan if you don't like the minions?
Yeah. Like if you watch Despicable, I'm not saying now because I don't like the minions now. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. But if you watch Despicable Me and you say, "Dang, I don't like the minions," you're kind of weird.
I always thought they were annoying. I never liked the minions.
That's a weird take.
I've never been like a huge Despicable Me fan though. So I'm like, to see the minions, I'm like,
now I will say the minions have been corrupted. I don't like them anymore. Yeah, by the middle-aged moms of the world. Yeah, their whole personality is minions. Bro, come on, get it out of here.
I'm not a huge Minion fan.
But I didn't get that because you had Bob, the shrunken head named Bob.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was kind of cute, but I think they were just trying to find like a cute little mascot or something.
Yeah.
But like a shrunken head guy is maybe not.
Might be a toy later on down the road that they sell.
Yeah, or like
Happy Meal or something.
I guess specifically like them interacting with the real world because Beetlejuice bombs the waiting room, whatever you call it, to like get back.
And so they can get into the real world.
And then he's like got his main shrunken head guy just to sit there and like not let anyone out. I guess he's got like, his business is kind of booming. Like he's got a bunch of phone calls.
He's allowed to do it now, apparently.
I guess so. I guess
he was always allowed if you called his name, you know.
But like he's not doing a great job because everyone's like, I want these people out of here, Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
But he's really good at what he does, so I don't know.
He's a good con man.
Oh yeah, okay, good point.
Because he probably sends one of his minion shrunken head guys to do it. He probably doesn't do it anymore.
But like he's obsessed with Lydia still.
Yes, which is weird.
What's up with that? Is he just likes the way she looks?
That's the one that got away, I guess.
Maybe so.
It was his ticket into the real world. I don't know.
Could be.
Didn't make sense.
But I'm glad that they got that element there. I'm glad he like had a reason to get back to Lydia. You know.
Yeah.
He's always just right there in case she slips up and says his name.
Yeah.
What about the music? Steven did not know who Danny Elfman was when we were watching this. He goes, "Who's Danny Elfman?" And I'm like, "Bro, are you fucking kidding me right now?"
I looked at Caleb, and Caleb looked at me, and I said, "That name sounds familiar." And he goes, "I think it's come out of his mouth before." And he points at you. I said, "Bet." So I turn around and look at you. The most uppity, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I've ever heard in my life. He's, "Oh, you like the Marvel stuff?" That's how you came off with Danny Elfman. He makes music for.
I'm sorry you don't know one of the most popular movie composers of all time. Steven.
He's not
he does like every single fucking movie.
Not the original legend.
What?
John, what's his name?
John Williams.
Yeah.
You got John Williams. You got what's his name? The guy who does
Hans Zimmerman.
Hans Zimmerman.
Oh, you didn't know Hans Zimmerman? You fucking loser.
And you got Danny Elfman. Those are the three big ones. And
I knew Danny Elfman's name. Like, he sounded familiar. I just didn't know who he was. But the music was good. I like the Deo.
Yeah, that was sort of a weird moment for me.
Yeah, it was like the remember thing you said. What was the word?
Member berries.
Yeah, member berries.
It was because the husband died. He got eaten by a shark. And they had like a choir of boys doing a rendition of that song.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are we doing a song about...
Because the dad never even liked it. It was
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, doing it.
Yeah. But I guess that was like their tradition.
Yeah, they could have probably done it a lot more after that because they just kind of lived together after that.
That was an interesting end of the movie, and I'm kind of sad that they got rid of Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. That was maybe my biggest complaint. Was like
they're not in it.
And like there was talk of a sequel kind of back in the day where Beetlejuice would be like in Hawaii or something, like tropical, and it was like a whole different situation. I think the Deets were involved somehow, but I think there would probably be no Alec Baldwin or Gina because they're stuck in that house, you know.
Yeah, so either way, they weren't coming back to them.
Yeah,
but which is weird. I like their dynamic.
They were the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Michael Keaton, obviously, but he's not in it enough to be like the main thing. You know? Like if those characters weren't likable and interesting in their own right, then that wouldn't have been a good movie.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, you would have the good Beetlejuice stuff in it, but not like it wouldn't be as.
They were the good foil because they were us in that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the kind of the point of view characters.
Yeah,
if you would.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part in this movie?
Probably the baby or him singing. You know, those are great moments. Or when he goes, "See you later, fucker," and then the guy just drops down. There's so many good parts to the movie. Funny parts.
I shouldn't like that because I feel like it, like we were talking about, like it does kind of like piss in the face of the rest of the movie.
It's just a hand wavy.
But it was very funny.
Yeah.
And it was very like subversive, and I was like, okay, I guess we're just done with this guy.
Yeah, he goes, "It's too late. He's already stamped it," and then he looks down, and it's like "fuck you" or something like that.
It said like "No way, Jose."
Yeah, something like that. And then I think it said "shit out of luck."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "See you later, fucker," and then just it was so fun because you think he's gonna be the bad guy you have to fight at the end, you know?
Yeah. And then you got like Monica Bellucci's character where she's just like sucking out people's souls
the whole time,
and it's almost like a villain of the week thing. Like it's almost like a crime drama in the beginning.
Yeah, which is so funny.
Willem Dafoe like goes to Beetlejuice and he's like, "Oh, what do you know about this lady?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know her at all." And then like he goes back to his office and tells this whole big story about how he's married to her and he chopped her up, and like that's why the reason. She was in a cult where she could suck the souls out of people. Yeah. None of this matters.
Trying to get immortality. Now she's dead, still trying to suck his soul. Just for some reason, because she's not going to get immortality now. She's dead, which is its own form of immortality. She can do whatever she wants.
I do like that the Beetlejuice movies have like a death for the dead people to give it more stakes. Mm-hmm. Like you have your exercise souls room in the first one, and then you got this one where like if she sucks your soul out, you're just permanently inside of her, I guess.
Yeah, oblivion essentially.
Which is how Danny DeVito goes out.
Yeah, rip Danny DeVito.
He was like drinking drain cleaner the whole time.
Dude, it was so gross. Oh, it was so gross. He was blue and short.
It was just Frank Reynolds.
Like a little blueberry.
Dead. Yeah. The ending is you go to Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega go like on a vacation. She's done with her show.
Yeah.
And then like she meets a guy, Jenna Ortega meets a guy, and they get married and have a baby, and the baby is the Beetlejuice baby.
Yeah.
And it's just like freaking out and going
killing
crazy,
all the doctors and stuff.
And then like she wakes up, and then Beetlejuice wakes up next to her, and he's like, "Oh, I had the weirdest dream." And then she wakes up actually.
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing?
I don't know. It's like they were like, we really don't know how to end this. Because like she saw the guy that she was going to marry, you know, in the dream, Jenna Ortega, and I looked over at my buddy and I said, I would have serious trust issues about any good-looking dude I see and instantly fall in love with. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then all that happened, and it became a dream. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But when she was giving birth and she looked exactly the same, I was like, something's going on, right? What's going on here?
Are we getting another one of these?
I think so, because they did Beetlejuice, and then they did Beetlejuice. I'm expecting a third one with all three names.
I don't know how I feel about these legacy sequels where it's like you have one like a long time ago, then you have two kind of back to back.
Yeah, what's another one like that?
Like Bad Boys was kind of like that.
Oh, you're right. But we had like Bad Boys 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then we had 3 and 4 now.
Yeah. So. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. It's the way that people.
Well, we were talking about it in the car. Like, we want legacy stuff for like PlayStation. You know?
Yeah.
What's the difference between like a video game or a movie? You know?
I guess it's because you can physically play the games. Like, there's differences in that.
It's also aspect. Like, will you like the direction they bring the movie you liked 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Coming up now.
Like, for me, this wasn't like a 1-to-1, but it was its own thing enough to where it was fun.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene was the marriage counselor scene where he spills his guts and has a baby.
Was it really?
Yeah. Really creepy how they did that. He impregnated Winona Ryder's character.
Yeah. And
then she just like popped a baby like out the front of her.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was all just illusion because like she didn't die.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming she's okay.
I don't think it was illusion. I just think that he did that and then just put her back together correctly.
He impregnated her from across the room.
Oh, yeah. The actual baby itself is what's throwing me off. You know what I mean? But I think he could have easily done all of that stuff and then put her back.
It's Looney Tunes logic. It's kind of like whatever.
And he just drop kicks the baby.
I did kind of watch through an episode of the Beetlejuice cartoon. So I have vague memories of watching it.
Yeah.
And the first episode that I clicked on, it was where Beetlejuice has to babysit, and he ends up turning into a baby version of Beetlejuice.
That's awesome.
So it's very interesting to me that maybe this is a reference to the cartoon show.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is. I think they just accidentally did that.
Yeah.
Because that show ran for like 5 seasons or something, so it had like a
That's
bunch
crazy.
Of
when did it come out? Like the 90s?
Yeah, it was like 80. It was like 89 to like 95 or something like that, probably.
Was it good?
I liked it as a kid. I don't think
I don't think I ever watched it.
It was one of those where it would just kind of come on every now and then, and you'd be like, "Oh, what the hell is this?"
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 7, 6, 7.
7, 8.
7, 8.
Yeah.
Go check it out. I think it's fun, especially if you like the first Beetlejuice movie. A lot of people don't like Beetlejuice, apparently.
Yeah.
I was looking at some reviews online, and people were kind of bashing it, like the first one.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people will respond to this or not. I enjoyed it. I liked the first one. But it's a kind of turn your brain off movie.
Yeah.
Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah. Guys, this is kicking off our Halloween special. We're going to be doing kind of fun movie, monster, horror stuff for the rest of September through October. So we got some good stuff coming up. So stay tuned on the channel every Friday. We'll have a different themed. Stay tuned every Friday. We'll have a different themed monster / horror / Halloween themed kind of thing. Next week we're trying to get the Gremlins out, 40th anniversary. So stay tuned on the channel.
Also go join the Discord. That'll be in the description and also our community tab here on YouTube.
Yep.
A lot of fun people in there already. We're just kind of having fun, hanging out and chilling.
So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.